Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am discussing now the personal identity. This is the first lecture, and this basically means determination and recognition of the individuality of a person, or it is the establishment of individuality of a person. So this means the complete fixation of individuality of a person, that is personal identity, the identity of a person. And this is based upon physical characteristics, and these characteristics are unique to every individual. So these physical characteristics, they are unique to every individual. And this personal identity may be either complete identity, that means complete fixation of the individuality, or partial identity, that means partial identification of one of the parameter, that is partial identity. So when we say complete identity, this means absolute fixation of individuality of a person. For example, a person is known by his name and complete address. Whereas the partial identity, this is the partial facts about someone, like his age, his race, his gender, stature, or any parameter that is partial identity. Then what is the significance? What is the importance of knowing a person? That means identity of the person. What is its significance? This basically helps in finding out the individuality of a person, that is applicable both in living as well as in dead. So establishment of individuality in both cases, whether the person is living or person is dead, that is personal identity. And what are various indications? The indications that where the identification or personal identity is required or is necessary, it may be applicable to persons when he is living or a dead is found. So in both the situations, the identification is important. For example, when we talk about the indications in living, they may be civil cases or the criminal cases. In civil cases, like insurance. In criminal cases, absconding soldiers. And in civil, the marriage, the inheritance, whereas in the criminal cases, the criminal culprits and the impersonation. So the cases in civil, they may be like insurance, marriage, inheritance, whereas in the criminal, there are the criminal scenarios. Then the civil cases, the pension, the voting rights, and in criminal, the interchange of babies. In hospitals, it usually sometimes happen that there is change of babies, and this is a criminal significance. Then criminal abortion, finding out determination of the passport, making the passport, this is the civil right. And in criminal cases, we have to fix the responsibility of a crime, that is the criminal responsibility. Whereas in dead, it may be applied to the wherever there is fire, in mass disasters, explosions, bomb blasts, in the road traffic accidents, in the railway accidents, in air crash. So whenever there is mass disaster in any situation, the individuality or establishment of the individuality is important. Or sometime a dead body is found in an abandoned place, in a street, in a jungle, or in a place which is abandoned, then the determination of his identity is important. Sometimes the body is decomposed or mutilated, and you only come across a hand or feet, only head, a part of a body. Then the identity from that part is important. And sometimes there are only skeletal remains. Only the bones are left, and you come across few bones or single bone. Then identity establishment from that single bone is important. And the mass disaster, when there is earthquake, the air traffic accident, the railway accident, then there is commingling of the body parts, mixing of the body parts. So then the identification is important. And what is the team which helps in establishment of the identity? There are basically forensic expert, they are called the medical jurists, then the forensic anatomist, because the anatomist will find out the uh, identity from the skeletal remains, the bone, and from single bone they can establish the identity. Then forensic radiologist, because the radiological data of the bones, of the teeth will help in identity. Similarly, forensic odontologist, the tooth expert, because tooth gives a lot of information regarding age, regarding identity, DNA material can be taken. So the role of odontologist is important. Forensically, basically the anatomist and the serologist which come across the fluids of the human fluid, they are left over at a scene of crime. That may be semen, that may be urine, that may be blood, that may be vaginal secretions or hair or any saliva. So this will help in identity. Then forensic histopathologist and bacteriologist, they will find out the disease process in the person, and a specific disease which is present in a person will help in identity. Then forensic toxicologist, they are basically the forensic analyst. They find out the role of drug and the poison in the body and will find out the cause of injury and the death. Then the forensic science experts, forensic prints experts, ballistics experts, there are various disciplines which help in establishment of identity. Now the biometric profiling. What is biometric profiling? Biometric identifiers, they are unique to the individual and they are distinct. They are measurable characteristics. So these are categorized in various categories. For example, they can be physiological characteristics. They are related to the shape of the body, fingerprints, palm veins, palm prints, face recognition, DNA, hand geometry, iris recognition, retina, and even the smell, the odor of the body. So these are the physiological characteristics which are unique for each individual. And sometimes the behavioral characteristics, they are very important. The behavior like the typing rhythm, the gait, the voice, they are the behavioral characteristics. Then what are the methods which help in identity? The methods, the subjective method, objective method, and third party. And what is objective method? That the object, the person is in front of you, and all the parameters from head to toe, they are unique and they help in identity. And this is basically from its morphological data, from head to toe. And this is done from the data and information which is gathered from the body, like the anatomical data, his age, gender, stature, color of hair, eyes. These are the anatomical characteristics. Then many characteristics even on the face are very unique. For example, the shape of the nose, shape of the chin, shape of the eyes, cheeks, teeth, and complexion. These are the characteristics which are present even single on the face. They help in identity. Then a specific data. it includes the skeletal and the dental data. This is important, especially in mutilated remains. Then certain pathological data that includes many congenital and acquired diseases. And then genetic data, which include the blood grouping, the genetic material, and the DNA analysis. This is the genetic material which help in identity. Then our miscellaneous data, it includes the scars, the tattoo marks, and the occupational marks on the body. Now, when we talk about the objective method, this means any object having an association with the subject help in identity. It also includes the morphological and belongings of the person. It indicates the relationship of the object with the subject. For example, the hair of the individual, the blood and the semen stain of a particular person. And these objects may be biological or non-biological. The biological are the fluids like the biological fluids of the body, blood, semen, saliva, urine, and stomach wash. And the solids are the nails, the hair, and the bones. Then the stains, these are usually the stains of the body fluids, the blood, the semen, and the saliva. These are the trace elements which are left on the scene of crime and they help in identity. Then the non-biological, that means the clothes, his belongings, a wristwatch, spectacles, jewelry. So any biological material which are in use of that person, they will help in identity. Then the most important is the third party method. That is the third person identifies. And this is the most common which is used. And the third person may be the relative, the friend, the police, the guardians, the parents. So any third person will identify. And this is applicable both in situation in the living as well as in dead. Now, what are the parameters of identification? The parameters may be anatomical parameters, which is the general data. And this is primary or secondary. Primary means which are present at birth, like the facial features, the gender, and the secondary which appear at various stages of life. And those stages are the development of age, gender, this development of secondary sex characters, the race, the height which increases, the weight, hair. So these are the characters which develop with the passage of time. Eyes, prints, and these prints are the fingerprints, the sole prints, the lip prints, and similarly the DNA profiling. Then the identity marks, they may be congenital or acquired. Congenital identity marks, they may be mole, congenital abnormality, extra digit, webbed fingers. So these are present at birth, congenital. Then acquired marks, they may be scar mark, they may be injury mark, operation mark, or occupational mark. They develop with the passage of time. Then specific data like the dental data, the skeletal data, genetic data, and pathological data. So when we talk about the dental data, this means the dental charts, dental x-ray, films, fillings, and the crowns. And the skeletal data means the data from the bones. And this may be the x-rays of the living person showing the bony landmarks or in dead body from the bones. Then the genetic data, that is the blood grouping, the DNA profiling, the Barr bodies, and Davidson bodies. This is the genetic data. And from these, we can determine the identity. And when we'll discuss further in detail, person identity will come to know these parameters. Then pathological data, sometimes the diseases like eczema, scars, congenital or acquired diseases, they leave a mark and this disease may be either active or cured. They will have a definite mark and help in identity. Then the physiological data, which is behavioral, gesture, voice, gait. Miscellaneous data include the photographs, the handwritings, the memories, and data from external environment where the person is, that is dust from the clothes, from the ground, from the place where the person was found, then the oil marks like the oil from the vehicle or the place of work, then the nail cuttings and the cup or glass or the article which was in use of that person. So this is the data from external environment. Then we talk about the corpus delicti, which is very important establishment of the body of crime. And this means that in a criminal case of homicide, a positive identification of the victim and proof of death by the criminal act of accused. So the accused got a criminal act which led to the death of the person. So this is the corpus delicti. This not only includes the physical body of the victim, but also the weapon of offense, clothing, the drawings, the pics. And it is establishment of identity of a person, that is the victim, and his death by the criminal act by another person, which is the cause. So it collectively termed as corpus delicti. Thank you very much. This is all about the first lecture.